This is shocking.
Seen the video of the Black woman who's in active labor and she's being ignored. And I'm just going to say this. As someone who's worked in the emergency room for years and has worked at numerous hospitals, I can confidently tell you that that is not protocol. When patients come in and they're in active labor, our main priority is getting you to labor and delivery, because we are not trying to deliver babies unnecessarily in the ER. We want to get you to where the nurses are specialized in labor and delivery and where there are resources to make sure that you deliver safely. So to watch that woman be in active labor and be asked questions about who her doctor is, when is her due date, to be ignored, to look at a nurse that won't even look at her, I think it was completely disheartening. And this is a clear case of medical racism. And when we are taught that Black women are 3 times more likely to die during birth than our white counterparts, this is why, because of these types of biases. This is exactly why Black women have the highest mortality rate in the country, because we are not believed, because we are not prioritized, because we are dismissed. As a Black nurse, this hurt me 10 times more, because this is why I am in healthcare, because I want to protect people that look like me from going through situations like this. This is why representation matters. Above all else, I am extremely happy that the patient and her baby are alive and they are being monitored closely. But this is why when my counterparts at work tend to say, oh, I don't see color when I'm taking care of patients, I just take care of everybody the same, I always correct them and I say, no, you should see color. You should see color. The statistics show that you should see color. People tend to not care. And this is a clear case of why I am in healthcare.
Guys, I literally noticed that something that has literally been happening in our society, like it has become very, very rampant. Like you have a lot of mothers, pregnant mothers, complaining that they're not being treated rightly, especially by white nurses because of their color or race, and that being rude to them. So I thought it wise to like combine some couple of videos to show you exactly what is happening and for you to judge the matter for yourself. So if you're new here, you're welcome, and do well to hit on that subscribe button to keep up with my content. Let's continue watching the videos.
Okay, so let me get this straight. LaCrista Vaughn finally learned that actions have consequences. A few weeks ago, Pari posted about how this nurse at Dallas Regional Medical Center kept this Black woman who was in active labor waiting, screaming in pain for 30 minutes. Do you remember this?
What? How many times have you been pregnant? 3! This is your 3rd pregnancy? Yes!
This went viral. There was a massive public outcry because it was so obvious how this was medical neglect. People annihilated the hospital's Yelp reviews, giving them 0 stars, 0 stars, 0 stars. People were calling the Texas Medical Board, including Pari, trying to file a complaint for this woman. The public let this hospital know absolutely no peace, and it worked. NBC reported that LaCrista Vaughn was fired. There's still a lot that they have to do, like issue a public apology and prove that they've revisited their standards for care. But this is an example about how public pressure really works. And I guarantee you that would not have happened if this wasn't blown up all over the internet and y'all didn't hold that hospital accountable. So stay ready for the next time this happens, because you see it can work, and there will be a next time. And in a country where Black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth, we cannot let this type of medical neglect, this medical racism go on.
If you are someone who takes care of human beings in a healthcare environment, I need you to listen the hell up. I just watched another video of a Black woman being dismissed in active labor and having a baby 8 minutes later. It is disgusting to watch, but finally people are paying attention. This is an article that was written 2.5 years ago. I talked about how if you are a nurse who says shit like, I'm colorblind, I don't see color, I treat all my patients equally, that you are part of the problem. You are actively contributing to harm, because your passive silence is active violence. So you might not be the nurse that does the side eye to a laboring Black woman, but you won't be the person to speak up when something is wrong. You'll be the nurse just following doctor's orders, just pushing the patient to the car. But if you are the kind of nurse who cannot recognize that a patient's skin color, one of the most obvious things about them, puts them at a 3 times greater risk of death, what are we doing? I'm going to explain to you why equality should never be a goal in healthcare. Our goal should be equity. I'm going to use a photo that's often used to explain this, but I'm going to explain why it doesn't work on our scenario and give you a better example. So this is what equity means, okay? We're not giving everyone the exact same thing, because giving everyone the exact same thing will still end with people having bad outcomes. We have to recognize the specific needs of our patient and give them exactly what they need to be successful, or to live, or to not be traumatized when they come into a hospital. Here's why this doesn't work when we're talking about Black women. This puts the problem or the onus within the body of that person. So I do presentations for nurses and talk about the importance of speaking up when it might feel scary to protect our patients from birth trauma, harm, or death. And in this presentation, I made this graphic, which shows 2 equally heighted women in 2 different environments in the same place. This woman's ancestors were enslaved women who were experimented on by a monster named James Marion Sims and called it gynecology, given procedures without anesthesia because they thought Black women could not feel pain. Even in my nursing books, in the culture section, it talked about how Black women have a higher pain tolerance. In order to improve outcomes for this patient, we have to either repair the ground underneath her or move her to a safer location. We have to change her environment. And when it comes to birth, there's a lot of well-meaning advocates who say, this is why you should have a home birth. No, that should never have to be the answer. We have to make birthing in a hospital while Black safer. And it starts by treating your Black patients differently. Stop being personally offended if they don't inherently trust you because you're wearing a badge and scrubs, because they've likely experienced mistreatment from someone who looks an awful lot like you. It's why my 9-year-old doesn't fuck with bees. He got stung by a bee, and even though there are going to be millions of bees who don't sting him, he will never trust a bee. And I don't blame him, because every bee has the opportunity to hurt him. We know that Black women are less likely to be listened to, so knowing that, how would you approach a patient who you knew was at a higher risk of not being listened to? Would you pull up a stool and hang on every word she says? Would you make a promise to listen to her? Would you echo her wants and desires louder to the other people on the care team? Would you act immediately if she says something is wrong? Or would you brush it off and say you're fine? But most importantly, are you willing to speak up against your coworkers, against people you may consider to be your friends, when something is not right? If even half of the healthcare workers in this country made a pact to never allow this type of behavior to exist in our orbit, we could make things better. But it counts on you holding up your end of the deal, to treat your Black patients differently, to never be silent in the face of injustice, and to always be on the lookout for ways that you can help your patients.
So guys, I don't really know what to conclude after watching this particular clip. I don't know if it's racism or if it's incompetency or if it's lack of passion for the job, because this is so unexplainable. I don't even know what to make out of it. Like, somebody is in labor, she's in pain, and you are just there sitting on your computer as if nothing is happening to her. Like, seriously, this shouldn't be accepted at all. I think they should even file a case against the nurse because it's not proper at all. Like, that woman was literally in pain. Like, it just shows how racism has become so expensive nowadays. Like, somebody's about to lose his or her life just because of that. I don't even know if it's also incompetency that I can attribute to this particular situation, because it's so not nice. It's so not nice. Let's continue watching.
My son coded, and I come to ask to see my child. I said I'm waiting right here for my child at 6 o'clock, which makes no sense. That I got to drive all the way home, come all the way back out here. And y'all gonna call the police because house manager said this. Because I said I'm gonna transfer my son. Ma'am, Did I disrupt you or something? I stood right here. Just wait, right? Didn't cause no problem, but you gonna tell me because the house manager told me I got to leave.
I'm just enforcing the hospital policy. That's all I'm doing. I'm just security.
I,
I'm the wrong person to get upset.
no, baby.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got upset with you. I'm asking you a question. But you want me to go all the way home to come back here at 6 o'clock to see my chair.
I mean, if you want to wait in your car.
What did I do wrong to stand right here and just wait?
That's all I got. I don't know exactly what's going on.
Oh, because you called back up her to the house manager?
What did the house tell you?
The house told me that she wasn't, when there's no ride, no visiting hours, she would have to, basically wait till 15 hours. But also, I called ICE, the second floor, and some, supervisor is supposed to be coming down here to talk to her.
You're in the center on the way?
No, a supervisor is supposed to be coming down to talk to her.
What time was that?
It was like 4 something.
4:14.
So I asked you what time, and you said 4:18.
Yeah,
So, what sense does that make?
It doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
Because I understand you're upset and you have a child up there. So I'm just going by what house told me.
So,
This whole thing just doesn't make sense.
this whole thing don't make sense, bro.
But I gotta follow what I was told to. So
yeah, so supervisor's supposed to be coming down from the second floor to here.
yeah, why didn't house tell you that?
I called house separately, and then I called them as well. And I think they talked to house and the second floor had talked as well. And basically said the same thing. But supervisor still has it to come in.
What floor was that on?
Second.
Second floor.
Okay, floor.
I'll go up there.
Okay, thank you.
Well, because we want to make sure we're doing the right thing for your wife, but we
By
haven't
getting,
been
by
able
getting
to.
security? What is security gonna do with my wife? And I'm trying to get her out here to a specialist. What is security gonna do?
Okay, well, we
But
have
just-
everything
but
in
just-
the letter.
but just-
What's her name?
So we will.
Wait, what's your name, ma'am?
I'm surprised. I mean,
Ma'am, what's your name?
This is a continued.
What's her name, Dad?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa. Yeah. Who can I use to file against you? Who can I complain against you?
Oh, we already received it.
No, I said, who can I complain against you? If I have a complaint against you, who can I talk to? So I can write that down. If I have an issue with the patient's advocate, who can I call?
Transfer out of this hospital.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay, I'm listening to your father.
Okay, I'm asking you, who can I complain to when the
You
patient
already
advocate?
did.
No, who can I complain to? Who can I complain to?
Commissioner, we'll file a complaint because basically
Okay.
she's trying to provoke.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
And her provoking.
Yes.
I'm really trying to request for my wife to go
Yes.
see a specialist.
Yes.
Because you guys are not going according to my request.
Mm-hmm.
You're sending in security guards. You're giving me bogus letters that's not accurate. And nobody, and everybody.
And the patient advocate is not advocating for us, because look, see how they calling security on us? My mom is sitting right here. My mom is sitting right here unattended for, and patient advocate is bringing security with us. Is this advocating for the patient? This is my mom, she cannot speak, and then she's bringing security up in here. Today is August the 16th, 2024, and you saw what the patient advocate did. The patient advocate is coming up to our room, harassing us on this floor. And that's what they're doing. They're harassing us in the hospital. We're in the hospital trying to get some stuff taken care of. That's it. Most High is good in heaven. The Most High in heaven is really good. And my mom, she's 67 years old. My mom is 67 years old, and the patient advocate is not advocating for my mom. She's 67 years old and can't even speak. And there she's for the hospital. And I never got a chance to complain. But it's all right, just like the Father told the children of Israel when they were in Egypt to let his people go. And it took some time for Aaron and Moses to reconcile the differences that the taskmasters in Egypt was doing against the children. And he was able to see those burdens that they were putting on his family, a family of God, And that's what that is. It's all right. The Most High is good. He reigns on the just and the unjust. But you saw that. You saw how the patient advocate came in with security. My mom and my dad is 67 years old. My mom and my dad is 67 years old. They're elders. These are elders. And this is the hospital that they brought my parents to. That's why we wanted to transfer so we can go to a place. We've been dealing with civil rights and all of this, of our rights being violated. And here we are in 2023, and we still are being met with discrimination. You know, us as Israelites, all we wanted was the standard of care, that's it. And the patient advocate is not even advocating for us. She never came to us and asked us what we needed or anything. The hospital is using her and security to mess with us, and that's not right. But that's all right. No weapon that's formed against us shall prosper. Every tongue that rises up against us in judgment we shall condemn. This is the heritage of the saints. This is Isaiah 54:17. And that's not right. That's not right for them. We tried to get the CEO and Jennifer and the administrators to talk to us in regards to what's going on to Laura Roberts and 404, but they don't want to do it. See, that's what the patient advocate has done. And my parents, they grew up in the 50s and the 60s. They seen this. And here I am. I have to see it now myself. We're not progressing. We're in 2023. We're not even progressing. They got my own people in uniform treating us like we're criminals and we're in a hospital. There's no patients that is being met with this type of opposition. My dad is 67 years old. He's an elder. And that's not right. That's not right at all. And I want this hospital to be exposed for the things that they're doing against my parents and unrighteousness. My mom is 67 years old. She had 2 strokes on July 25th. And ever since they brought us in here, we've had people like Milton want us out, tell us to get out of here. She wasn't even here for a day and put in a transfer. And we just want everybody to look to see what's going on instead of harassing us. This is a hospital. But hey, what do you expect? What do you expect from a people who don't serve God? What do you expect for a people that's ungodly and don't know the truth, but they're full of hatred and evil? That's evil for the patient advocate to approach my dad. My mom had 2 strokes, and we don't even know why, and she's laying there. And all we ask for is a doctor to come in and explain to us what happened to her brain, why you didn't feed her, why you messed with her feeding tube. My mom didn't eat for 5 days. They put a tube in her nose, and they put it in correctly. So they think they can use security to intimidate us, to not even hear what we're saying, to address our concerns. That's why I said I want to file a complaint against the patient advocate, because the patient advocate is not listening to us. She's working for the hospital and having security, my own people, come against me. And all we want, you know, we're not violent people. We're peaceful people. We're the children of God. God said we got to be peacemakers. And it's not right that they're having my people do this in uniform, but I know this is his job. He got to do his job. Okay, you got to go. Okay, right. Okay, then go ahead and take care of your business. I'm glad you handled yourself right. The patient advocate did not advocate for you. She got the security. What? Messing with my dad and my mom. 67 years old. But Father, you see this day. Today is August, 16th, 2023. On a Wednesday. My parents do not deserve this. But how can Satan cast out Satan? His kingdom won't stand. But it's all right, Father, you see this day. And I pray, Father, that you visit this hospital and let your mighty hand see the unrighteousness that's happening. Security guards, they got security guards on us. Patient advocate is harassing my dad. That's harassment. All because my dad.
I'm a labor and delivery nurse, and I treat my Black patients differently.
If you haven't seen Jen's video, you need to go watch it. It's great, and she does an amazing job talking about this. Nurses should not have to advocate twice as hard for our patients of color, but we do. The other day I had 2 patients, one Black, one white. My Black patient was in 10 out of 10 pain with 0 drug history. My white patient had a 4 out of 10 headache. Do you want to know what they got for pain meds? One of them got oxycodone. The other one got Tylenol. I didn't have to ask for the oxy. And it took me 4 hours to get something other than Tylenol for the 10 out of 10 pain. The systemic racism in healthcare needs to be fixed.
Okay, so it is not normal to hear a person scream and then feel nothing. That's literally not how your brain is supposed to work. Whether the person is screaming out of fear or pain, this is an evolutionary thing to warn other humans to either protect the human or to get away from danger. It comes pre-installed at birth for the noise of someone screaming to immediately send you into fight or flight. When you're born, You're born screaming and crying and pissing and shitting because it activates your mom being like, oh shit, I have to protect this thing. It activates everyone around you like, oh shit, I have to protect this thing. It is literally supposed to activate very important parts of your brain. So when you work at a hospital where you hear that a lot and you stop having that reaction, you have a problem. Medical desensitization kills people because it literally removes your sense of urgency when someone is doing the most basic evolutionary thing to tell you that something is wrong. And guess who that kills the most?
Mounting concerns over this video that appears to show Carrie Jones in active labor at Dallas Regional Medical Center in Mesquite, Texas, last week.
Y'all treat all your patients like this or just the black ones?
Jones's mother posting the video on social media.
I said, can we get her into labor and delivery? She said, no, we have to fill out all this paperwork.
The family alleges hospital staff delayed Jones's care for more than half an hour. In a statement to NBC News, the medical center says in part that we are committed to providing compassionate, high-quality care to every person who comes through our doors, and we are reviewing this situation to understand what occurred. In the U.S., black women report facing disproportionate levels of unfair treatment in healthcare settings and are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women. In Crown Point, Indiana, another alarming video. Mercedes Wells says she sought care from Franciscan Health Crown Point Sunday. She says they sent her up to triage, where she labored for 6 hours and a nurse gave her a checkup.
After she finished, she said, well, if you're not further along and you're not past 3 centimeters in the next 2 hours, then we're going to discharge you.
Wells says she never saw a doctor, and minutes after being discharged, she gave birth in the car.
How did it feel after you gave birth? Not at the hospital, but in your car?
I felt like I was put out on the street.
Did you think you could lose them?
I did, and that's what That's what messes me up.
The hospital's president and CEO, Raymond Grady, says in part, we must fix what we failed in our hospital. The physician and the nurse directly involved with Mrs. Wells' care are no longer employed by Franciscan. I apologize to Mrs. Wells and her family. This video going viral, not just resonating, but renewing concerns about racial disparities. The CEO also adding that he has mandated cultural competency training for all labor and deliveries.
This is what our shitty-ass healthcare has come to, where my patients need medicine and supplies and their insurance won't cover it, and here I am spending my own money because my patient needs it, and he doesn't have any money and he can't work. And the insurance won't even cover what he needs. And I'm sad and I'm sick and tired of it.
What up, Nurse Gang? What up, TikTok? So today on Nurses in the News, headline reads, Black nurses are traumatized by racism in healthcare. Nasima McElroy, a California-based labor and delivery nurse, witnessed the mistreatment of multiple Black women in a maternity ward. Her mental health was impacted because of it. Let's take a deeper look into this story. Being a Black nurse in America sometimes means caring for patients while protecting them from racism at the same time. This was the case for Nasima McElroy, a California-based labor and delivery nurse who demanded better care for Black moms and was fired shortly after. Nobody's going to change the medical system for us, McElroy said. We have to do it ourselves. One day in March 2018, McElroy happened to be on the clock when her friend came in to give birth at the Oakland hospital where she worked. Had they missed one another, McElroy wouldn't have been able to save the mom from an unmedicated emergency C-section that could have been fatal. The mother intended to have a VBAC, but after being given an epidural during labor, a midwife called for an emergency C-section. At that point, things moved dangerously fast. McElroy watched her friend be dragged onto a gurney because her legs were numb from the pain medicine and then rolled into the operating room. The mom's catheter had slipped out in the process, stopping the flow of medication. McElroy said the rapid pace was due to change of shifts taking place. Some staff were clocking in while others were clocking out. The operating room was packed and communication from the team was poor. There wasn't any communication, she said. So that was a safety issue. You had 2 shifts of nurses, respiratory therapists, and doctors in the room. She said, quote unquote, I just remember looking into her eyes and seeing how scared she was. McElroy was the primary nurse and the team was supposed to keep her up to speed on what was happening and why, but they failed to do so. So she did what she felt was her only option to stop the surgery. She said, quote unquote, I literally had to roll my body across her to stop them from cutting her open unmedicated, she recalls. I had to literally yell and call a hard stop and was like, no, you are not about to cut her. Moments later, the attending doctor walked in and noted that the birth actually wasn't supposed to be an emergency C-section. McElroy said her friend had no idea what was going on. She didn't know her epidural had got pulled out. She said, it was just like a state of confusion. I just remember looking into her eyes and seeing how scared she was. A week later, McElroy addressed her concerns about the situation to the head of OB, who was also a black woman, but was disregarded. Black pregnant women all over the country fear hospital experiences like this, or worse, dying because no one saved them. In 2018, black women were dying from pregnancy-related complications at 2.5 times the rate of white women, and that remains the same to this day. After being dismissed, undertreated, violated, and ignored, black mothers are leaving hospitals traumatized, if they make it out alive. But sometimes those who witness the neglect of black women in hospitals are impacted too. Just a few weeks after supporting her friend, McElroy said she had to advocate for another pregnant woman whose pain was dismissed during labor. After witnessing both patients escape potentially fatal complications, she broke down mentally. She said, quote unquote, I'm in the parking lot on my way to work every day crying like this can't be life. Her job referred her to a therapist who told her she needed to take time off because she was traumatized, but that never happened. Her employer denied her time off, so she called out sick. And then she was later terminated for being, quote unquote, absent. She filed a lawsuit and settled in 2020. McElroy may have been among the first nurses to gain national attention for her story, but many share her experiences. In a survey conducted by the National Commission to Address Racism in Nursing, 92% of black nurses reported experiencing racism on the job. The nurse went on to report that racist acts came from different parties, 70% from leaders, 66% from peers, and 68% from patients. McElroy said, the reality is we've got racism in nursing, and it's doing harm to nurses of color.
Guys, after watching these clips, it is really, really disheartening. I don't really know what to say at this point because I can even understand racism in other aspects, but in the medical field, like seriously, like, yeah, I accept that, okay, racism has been something that black folks have been fighting for ages, but for it to reach the medical level is crazy because there you're literally dealing with human lives, and for persons to lack empathy and compassion to this extent is crazy. It's crazy seeing a woman in labor, and that's not the only case. I've had several testimonies of persons saying that maybe they have gone through the same situations in hospitals where they were bullied by white nurses, or they were not even attended to. And it's something that should really, really be unacceptable. I think persons should actually get educated about some certain aspects because this is really insane. Nobody deserves to be treated as such. So guys, if you've had maybe a friend, a colleague that has been treated like that, I would like to hear your story in the comment section. And if you love this video, do well to leave a like and hit on that subscribe button. See you in the next one.